Hi, this is Jenna with Books Love Jenna, and I am here to talk about our July picks for the Books Love Everyone book group. We, in July, are going to be reading two books that have something to do with Jane Austen. In July this year, Jane Austen would be turning 250 years old. So many amazing things happening in England specifically about Jane Austen's life this month. But it is also here on BookTube. Jane Austen July has been for a very long time, thanks to Katie and Marissa and Claudia. They have been leading with other people as well over the years, but this year it's those three. Jane Austen July for a very long time, and every year they do not disappoint. The prompts for Jane Austen July are always the same, and the two books that we are reading this month for our Books Love Everyone book group will actually fulfill two of the prompts for Jane Austen July. So just by reading these two books, you get the double whammy of participating in Jane Austen July and participating in the Books Love Everyone book group. So here we go. Our nonfiction for the month of July is going to be Jane Austen's Bookshelf by Rebecca Romney, a rare book collector's quest to find the women writers who shaped a legend. So this one says, long before she was a rare book dealer, Rebecca Romney was a devoted reader of Jane Austen. She read and reread all her books, often wishing Austen wrote just one more. But Austen wasn't a lone genius. She wrote at a time of great experimentation for women writers, and clues about those women are sprinkled like breadcrumbs throughout Austen's work. Every character in Northanger Abbey who isn't a bore sings the praises of Anne Radcliffe. The phrase Pride and Prejudice comes from Frances Burney's second novel, Cecilia. The women who populated Jane Austen's bookshelf profoundly influenced her work. So where had these women gone? Why hadn't Romney, despite her training, ever read them? And why were they no longer embraced as part of the wider literary canon? In Jane Austen's Bookshelf, Romney investigates the lives and work of women writers whom Austen loved. Frances Burney, Anne Radcliffe, Charlotte Lennox, Hannah More, Charlotte Smith, Elizabeth Inchbald, Hester Lynch, Thrall Piozzi, and Maria Edgeworth. In each chapter, Romney explores how these women became writers, how they influenced Austen, and how they've become forgotten in the years since. Romney collects the once famed works of these writers, physically recreating Austen's bookshelf and making a convincing case for why these books should be placed back on the to-be-read pile of all book lovers today. So, this is our nonfiction pick, but it also fits as the nonfiction pick for the Jane Austen July prompts, if you're looking to do that. You could also just read it with us. I know quite a few people have already read this. This came out earlier this year. I myself read this last year because I had a ARC that was given to me on NetGalley. I know that this is a very insightful, very readable collection of biographies and a little bit of a persuasive literary analysis of each of these authors' major works. There's also a great list in the back, a reading list, an appendix full of titles by these authors. And I know that I myself, this Jane Austen July, will be trying to read something from multiple of these authors, which I have not yet done. So I am excited to share this with you. If you read this before and you're not reading it specifically for this book group, I still invite you to come along to have a discussion with us about it and about Jane Austen in the month of July. And if you haven't read it yet, even if you're not super interested in Jane Austen, but you're just interested in women's literature or the history of the novel, I strongly suggest that you pick up this book. The other book we're reading in the month of July is one that I also have already read, but I read this quite a long time ago. I would say a decade ago, probably. and I am looking forward to reading it again. This is Kathleen A. Flynn's The Jane Austen Project. Now, this would fit for one of the Jane Austen July prompts as well, but for our intents and purposes, this is a fun sci-fi novel about researchers in the future who need to find some things out about Jane Austen. And so they're going to use time travel to go back in time and to meet Jane Austen and her family and to get the answers to some very probing questions about the author and her life and her time. All of that might sound cheesy, but from what I remember feeling like this was just really excellent writing. I haven't read it in over a decade, but I know, well, not over a decade, maybe just under a decade. I haven't read it in a lot of years, but I remember being really impressed by it, really, really enjoying it. And if you're looking for something a little bit different for Jane Austen July, this may be the book for you. I am hoping that I love it now as much as I loved it then. We'll find out. We'll find out. So if either of these books looks at all interesting to you, then I strongly suggest that you join us in the month of July for Books Love Everyone book group. In the meantime, let's go read.